Hi, in this video I'm going to create a React hook to do a frame loop or a gain loop. So if you need a logic inside an infinite loop, for example a game, a club, or an interactive timing experience. So we are going to create a new file here and we are going to put it inside a utils folder and we're going to call it frameloop.js. So let's first create the component. Now that I have this structure here, I'm going to change the name to use frame loop and get rid of it. We also need to receive here the callback for the loop. Go back, and now we need to store the ID from the request animation frame. So for that we need a variable. We're gonna call it request ID equal use ref, and we need another one to store the previous time so we can calculate the delta time between two frames. So previous time use ref. Now we're going to create the function. These are going to be loop. Loop. Here we are going to receive time. So now we need to store the previous time. So previous time dot current is going to be equal to time. And now we want to request another animation frame. So request IDE dot current is going to be equal to request animation frame, and we're going to pass it the loop. So now the function is looping. Now we want to check if we already have the previous time variable setting up so we can calculate the delta time. If previous time that current is not equal to undefined, here we can now calculate the delta time. So delta time is gonna be equal to time minus previous time current, and here we can call the callback function. So callback no delta time. Here we want to pass the time. Now we need to use the use effect function here, which receive arrow function and an empty array, so the effects only runs once. And we want to store the request ID, also requesting a new animation frame starting the loop. And once we return, we want to cancel the animation frame. I am using the use ref. Oh, I have a mistake here. Just to make sure that whenever the variable change, it doesn't trigger a new re-render. So now how to use it? We're going to change the starting point of the application. Don't need this code. I'm going to get rid of it. I also not do that. So here now we only need to call the use frame loop. It will import it automatically, and we need to pass it the callback function. Remember that we received time and we received the delta time. And he will be our logic for the loop. And for this example, I am going to have two states, once for the time and once for the delta time. So const time and set time is gonna be equal to use state. Oh shit, use state 0. Oh, maybe we can just call it that. Use state. Now we call delta time. Ported. Use state. So now let's just save it the time. So set time prefer to put it like camel case. So delta time. Okay, set time, and we set the time here, and set the delta time. Delta time. Oh, I misspelled that. Delta time. Set delta time, and we save the delta time here. So delta time, and now we can display it, draw it. Here we can print time, and now delta time. Let's run, and that's the result. So let's say that we want to change the background color every 2 seconds. We can do it like that. I'm saving the color variable. Now we need to save a variable to calculate the next time when it's gonna fire the next color. Next color is gonna be equal -1. And if the time is greater than the next color, that's mean that we are going to fire up the new color. So next color time is gonna be equal to time plus 2000 milliseconds. So now to set the color, we want to call set color. We need to generate random number. So mat.random. And we also need to multiply this magic number. And we need to floor that down. So floor. And we need to convert it to base 16 and add this. Now let's set the new color here. So style gonna be equal to background and color. And to make the transition smoother, we can add this line in the CSS right above here. All right, let's write transition, and we want to affect the background, and we can put it is easy in and out, and in 1 second. That should do the trick. Boom. Now the color is changing every 2 seconds with a smooth transition. This is another example of what you can do with this hook. This is a helper reader. And that's it. And ciao, ciao.